Hello once again. It's Brian. It's good to be back. So I'm hopeful that you've had a wonderful week. I'm hopeful that in whatever season you are going through in life right now, that the Lord is present with you, and He's communicating nonetheless. So the video that I want to make today is a continuation to the video that we previously did about anxiety, about overcoming anxiety. And today I want to be a lot more specific about the areas in my life where anxiety has really manifested, and I want to give like a complete account of where I'm standing, and areas also where I've been victorious. Okay, so yes, so like many people, I do not like to wait. I don't think if there's anybody who ever likes to wait. Okay, and everyone of us, at least by societal standards and how we've been programmed, the education system and everything like that, we always have like a timeline for when things need to happen, when certain things need to actualize. Now our education system teaches us that you need to go to school, finish school, go to college, get a job, get married, and procreate or whatever. So now a lot of us, that's the template that we normally adopt life with. But you see, sometimes it doesn't always work like that. Okay, now there are things that, like I mentioned in the previous video, anxiety sometimes manifests in scenarios where you desire something but you cannot have it when you want it. Sarah had every reason to be anxious when she could not have a son, when it was within the biological window for her to have a son. All right, same thing with Hannah. But now realize how Hannah managed her anxiety. She prayed over it incessantly, persistently, until the Lord honored her prayer. This let me talk about myself. A little bit about my background, where I come from. Okay, when I was born, my father was relatively young for his time. I was born when my father was 27 years. My cousins, most of everyone in my lineage normally, got married early, okay, in their 20s at least. So that's how I sort of conditioned myself growing up, that I would be next in line for that. And the time when I dealt with much anxiety in my life was when that I was beginning to experience some delay. So that was between 2019 and 2023. So here's how it happened. I just said that I was born when my father was still a young man in his 20s. He was 26, 27, thereabout. And I just also mentioned that people in my lineage, for the most part, settled down, got their spouses when they're in their 20s. Now, I got to my mid-20s. Brian, I got to my mid-20s. When I got to 26, when I was 25, I wasn't even in a relationship. When I got into 26, I started dating, and I was hopeful that I would be married at 27, like my father did. When I got to 27, the relationship that I was in did not see the light of the day. It ended up going on a downward spiral. That lady she and I ended up breaking up. So when I was hopeful that I would find a replacement when I was 27 to marry, because that has always been the desire of my heart. That never happened. I got to 28. I tried to get into relationships. Started out well with some ladies, but neither of them saw the light of the day. Panic started kicking in real hard when I got to 29, when I was now crossing to 30, and whatever I'd been waiting for, whatever I'd been anticipating hadn't quite come. Got to 29, and yeah, didn't see success in what I was pursuing. Now I got to 30, and I was hopeful that when I got to 30, I would have settled down. I got to 30 and still nada. Got to 31. Right now I'm 32, and at the time that I'm making this video, I'm not married. Obviously, I'm not even in a relationship, and it's still the desire of my heart to be settled down. I'm not going to lie about that. But yeah, this was to give a timeline of how I've constantly not been able to get what I want, and how anxiety, found how anxiety settled in that particular scenario. Now, last year particularly, between 2023 and 2024, no, 2022 was the year where, which one was it? Allow me. 2023 something happened, and it sort of aggravated the anxiety levels. So I relocated from my home. My home is in Kisumu, but I relocated to Nairobi. I mentioned in the previous video about my artistic endeavors. So I chose to relocate from my home from Kisumu. Kisumu is a city, granted, but it's a smaller city than Nairobi, and I'm at a better place as far as opportunities are concerned in terms of filmmaking. That's why I had to make that relocation. But now when that happened, rather what that did is it changed the landscape of everything for me. It sort of unbalanced everything. Coming to a new city, settling, and yeah, I've not been able to make meaningful connections as far as relationships are concerned as I could when I was in Kisumu. So that obviously aggravated the anxiety in my heart, because you see, I'm still aging. Time is still ticking. Okay, so I know that this is something that men typically don't get worried about, but considering my background, and then also considering my faith, and the fact that this has been something that has been ingrained in my head for as long as I can remember, then for my case it's a little different. So yeah, that is as far as relationship matters are concerned. Another reason where anxiety has really been rampant in my life is as far as career is concerned. Now, I'll give a little history again. I graduated in 2015. That's the first time that I graduated, and around that time I was young. I was 22 years at the time. Yes, so I knew, well, at least anyway, because that's the reason why people go to school. It is, to be able to secure some future. So I did not get a career breakthrough at the time. Although at the time still, I had options open, because I still wanted to be able to make a living as an artist. And while I did not get the career breakthrough that I could have anticipated having gone to school, at least there's something that I could use my time for. And I got started as an artist. But also, I did not, although some of the things are I have myself to blame for, I did not get that artistic breakthrough either for the period of time when I was pursuing life as an artist. Okay, Granted, I was making money, especially in my capacity as a photographer, but just enough to get by with, not as much as I could have imagined. And that was inspiring anxiety. I started second guessing having chosen a career in arts, chosen to be an artist. So that also inspired anxiety in my life. Now, one thing that is underlying, one thing that is underpinning all these, both of these stories that I'm talking about, is the fact that there's always been comparison. Now, with regard to relationships and marriage, I was comparing myself with people who came before me. I was comparing myself with my father, with my brother, with my cousins who got married early. As far as my career life is concerned, seeing my peers doing things that I could have wanted to do at younger ages, buying cars, getting married, having children, things that I desired for my life. And for my case, there was that sustained delay. Okay, that also inspired anxiety inside my life. I'm just trying to be as real as possible with this, because I've always been blessed by videos of people who are real about their lives. So yeah, so that has always caused anxiety for me. Another reason for anxiety plaguing me has always been, and this is rather embarrassing to talk about, but I'm going to share anyway, because this is gloves off, okay? How do I put it? You know what? This one can wait. It will. I'll talk about it in another video, because it's going to be really long. So yeah, so those have been reasons that have caused anxiety in my heart. And then the most recent reason that aroused anxiety in my heart that I have to share is in 2022, the December, I think a couple of days to crossing over to 2023, I lost my father to an accident. And yeah, the following year, adapting to life was difficult, when there was always that constant fear that the reality of death was now close, and someone in the family, or anyone that I cared about, could be taken away. Okay, so I get that was like a coping mechanism. It's something that it's a post-grief effect, but still it inspired a lot of anxiety in my heart. So bad. Now, how did I get to overcome this? Because I wanted to talk about this in the capacity of my testimony. The anxiety for marriage and settling down and starting a family, I'll be completely honest, I manage it, but I've not completely, gotten over it, because I still desire to be a family. I still desire to, have children, okay? And I still desire to be married. Now, to say that it's something that I've completely gotten over is that will be false. But I manage it, and here's how I manage it. Number one, I realize that God's timing and my timing could be different. And because it hasn't happened the way I could have wanted, it means that perhaps the time just hasn't arrived. And here I'm going to refer to a scripture to back up what it is that I'm saying. So we are going to read from the book of Habakkuk, all right? Habakkuk chapter 2. Habakkuk chapter 2, from verse 2 to verse 3. And it says, "And the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. For still the vision awaits its appointed time. In fact, for still the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end, it will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come, it will not delay." All right? So yeah, so this is something that I've like I said, I've desired for as long as I've been alive, okay? For as long as I've been aware of how things work. And I believe that marriage is a beautiful thing, and I believe that marriage is a blessing from the Lord. No one can convince me about that. I know about plenty of marriages that fail to see the light of the day, that failed that. But to me, no one can convince me against marriage. I believe that marriage is a beautiful thing, and I believe that marriage is a blessing, and I believe that marriage itself begets blessings. So, and I also believe that marriage is within the will of God. So yes, having said that, I'm allowing myself to be encouraged by the scripture, by God's word. The vision that God placed in my heart as far as marriage is concerned still stays alive, and I believe that when his time comes, that's a door that is going to open, and when it opens, there's no one who will close it. So in that regard, anxiety is taken care of. As far as my career is concerned, so here is the thing. When I was leaving my city, Kisumu, to come relocate to Nairobi to pursue my career as a filmmaker, it was not an easy thing to do, because I had to leave essentially everything. My friends in Kisumu, my house, my mother, though she and I are in communication, but her. So there's a lot that I left. My clients in Kisumu, the people who, kept calling me for jobs, okay, to come to a city where I'd not dwelt in before like that, and I did not know how I would get around, how I'd find my bearing. So definitely I was anxious about that, very, very anxious about that. But when I thought about the reward, what it is that I wanted versus the sacrifice, the reward outweighed the sacrifice. I chose to relocate, and I left home. And when I came, the Lord opened the door for me. He's always been supplying for all of my needs. That's how faithful the Lord has been. So in that regard, anxiety has gone down, because I've learned to live by faith. Admittedly, there are days when I'm still anxious. I'm not going to say that it's all gone, but I've learned to live by faith, and the Lord has consistently, supplied for my needs, at least for the things that I need, all right? For the things that I need, rent, upkeep, and things like that. The Lord has faithfully supplied for them, and in that regard, the anxiety has simmered off. So this is going to be a series. For the sake of time, there's another part that I'm going to come in, another angle that I'll bring in the next video. But for now, this is what I wanted to share about. I wanted to give my personal experiences with anxiety, and I wanted to just encourage anyone who's watching or who's listening that the Lord's got you, man. The Lord's got you, I promise. Just let him fight your battles. You don't got to fight this all by yourself. Leave it at his feet, man. That's how faithful the Lord is, I promise you. That's how faithful the Lord is. There's nothing that is as important as the peace that the Lord puts in your heart, man, I promise you. Okay? You don't have to live in worry. You don't have to live in anxiety. You don't have to live a life where you are always anxious, you are always restless, you are always in panic mode, when the Lord literally wants to take that away from you. The Lord wants to give you the alternative. So I hope someone has been blessed. If you've been blessed, kindly consider sharing this video, leave a like, and I'd really appreciate if you comment as well. And if you'd like to be prayed for, you can write down on the comment section. I'll be glad to pray for you, because I don't want you to be anxious, okay? Do not be anxious about anything. I don't want you to be anxious. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.